Hi, my name is Malia Monk, and I am in English 101 with Dr. Gina Warren. And today I'm going to talk about sunscreen and how it is hurting our aquatic environments. So first, let's talk about why it's important to protect our aquatic environments. Well, many fish live in there, and fish are awesome. And just think about how beautiful the coral reefs are and all the beautiful colors that they have and the insane like biodiversity and just we want our grandkids and our kids to be able to experience that firsthand, not just through our stories. So this is a huge impact on many generations to come. So let's talk about some chemicals. Homosalate, octocrylene, oxybenzone, octinoxate, enzacamine, and salicylate are all super common chemicals used in chemical sunscreen to help protect our bodies from harmful UV rays. Now, how do they work? They work by absorbing the UV rays and converting them into harmless heat. So they protect us. Like imagine um a little like baseball, like catching it and like tossing it away, you know? Um, so they're also in many of our daily products. They are in our nail polish, our hairsprays, our hair color, some of our shampoos. They're in a crazy amount of our daily products than we realize. So how do they get into our aquatic environments? Well, they can get in either directly or indirectly. So they can get in directly by simply putting on these chemicals or products that have the chemicals and going swimming in the bodies of water. They can also be put in directly by laying on the beach with these products on and the waves or tide washes it into the water, or simply just putting these on next to the water. But they can enter indirectly by wastewater. So they can get into wastewater from our showers, washing our clothes. If we're like washing a car outside and we have these chemicals on and we spray ourselves with water and it gets rubbed off, all sorts of ways. And here's a on the side is a little example of the breakdown of these chemicals. So there are two different types of sunscreen. There are mineral sunscreen and chemical sunscreen. Mineral sunscreen uses inorganic UVFs to protect us, and chemical sunscreen uses organic UVFs to protect us. So there's a huge misconception that inorganic UVFs are actually way better for the environment than organic UVFs, when in reality they're both really harmful to our aquatic environment and all the animals that live in them. So zinc oxide and titanium dioxide are inorganic chemicals that are in mineral sunscreens. Now, these are really harmful to fish. We need to test both of the UVFs and make sure that we restrict what is really reef safe because many people go to the store and they just buy reef safe sunscreen, but they don't know what chemicals in it are harmful. And a lot of companies use it as like marketing to help them sell their product better too. Now, how do they impact our marine life? The main impact is coral bleaching. So when coral gets stressed, they eject their brown algae in them, which causes bleaching and causes them to die. So, and coral reefs host a quarter of all marine biodiversity, which is huge. And if um, if these chemicals are, oops, if these chemicals um, hurt our coral reefs, they're gonna hurt us too because we eat a lot of fish eat a lot of fish in marine life that live in coral reefs. Um, so the decline of coral reefs is the decline of us, of some of our food, our favorite food, or also like cultural food. These chemicals can also spread through the food chain by attaching themselves to plankton, which get then consumed by bigger fish and just works up the food chain. So in the end, we actually end up eating some of the chemicals that we deposit. And at the bottom, you can see a live coral reef and a bleached coral reef. And you can see the comparison on how there's a lot of fish in the live one and not a lot in the dead one. So they not only affect our marine life, but they also affect our freshwater life. So sunscreen ingredients have been found in marine water, freshwater, and soil, sediment, sludge, and biota, which is the environment and the animals that live in it. So there's currently no way to remove these chemicals from our environment. They have done many tests and nothing. All the tests came back with the same amount of chemicals as before as after. They're working on more tests, but none have been successful so far. Scientists in Europe tested these chemicals and their effects on crayfish and how they modified their behavior. And they modified their behavior, they modified their basic behavior, including locomotion, alteration in their heart rate, distance moved, and activity time of crayfish. At the bottom, I've included a graph that shows crayfish heart rate after being exposed to BB4 and BSP4. So you can see that when exposed, their heart rate is super high compared to the control. Oh, sorry. Also, crayfish are a huge part of the environment, the freshwater environment. They're kind of like the housekeepers or groundskeepers. So if they get affected, the whole aquatic ecosystem could shift or change. Some solutions. So sunscreen is super important and we need to like make sure we use it even though it is harmful, but it protects us from melanoma and non-melanoma related cancers, which is really serious. And we don't want everyone to just stop using sunscreen and sadly get cancer. So, what should we use instead? Now, there are mineral sunscreens that do not contain harmful chemicals in them. So, those are also an option. We can also wear hats and um, lots of clothing to cover up, like leggings and rash guards and staying in the shade. We can do many things other than using harmful chemicals. We need to run more tests on the chemicals to know which ones are harmful for our aquatic environment and make sure we keep our fish safe because our fish and other um, inhabitants of our aquatic ecosystems because they have nowhere to go. And it's our fault that they're being harmed. So we need to do our part in making them feel safe and be healthy. In conclusion, we need to study the ingredients in sunscreen more and ban the ones that harm our aquatic ecosystems and the animals that live in them. We need to tighten regulations on what is considered reef safe so that people buy it and it actually is reef safe and it's not just a marketing technique. And we need to educate more people on our aquatic crisis. I think a really good idea would be for highly traveled places near water that like supplies sunscreen would be to supply actual reef safe sunscreen and have like a little plaque on top that shows or that talks about how sunscreen is affecting our wildlife. And here's my works I did. So, yeah.